Hello, so happy to talk to you, Stitch Sisters. I wasn't sure how I could do this video because I don't speak usually when I'm stitching. So I put a TED Talk, on YouTube TV, or I go on a podcast of something, and I feed my soul while letting just my hand go. So I just wanted to, because it is the process of what we're doing, maybe in the sense of this sharing and hopefully this exhibition that will be very interesting to see how women, are linked to each other by something that could be so different as themselves and their habits and what they do and their taste and their backgrounds and, upbringing, whatever. And for me, well, I say both of my parents are from Cameroon. They're African, but I wasn't born in France, but I came here, I was a baby. My first words were in French, and I don't speak my native language, which is a shame, I know, I'm sorry. I try to sometimes, speak a bit avec, but I don't, and I speak English, as you can experience now. And when I went in Esther's group, I was a bit a rebel to what was ethnic. It was pissing me off because I would say that every time you've got a color, or if you come from somewhere, you have to always bring this with you. And for me, it was like something very heavy that I didn't relate to because I wasn't the typical African girl. But then after this workshop, I realized that indeed I was. There is something that you can't just, shake off and say that it doesn't exist. The first thing is obviously the color of my skin. And the other is the biracial way I have been raised, even though I wasn't biracial, which is very strange. My tastes are typically, I could say Caucasian for something, but another part of what is the way I refer to my elders, the way I refer to what could be music, or sometimes also the way I refer to women or men, are just coming from Africa. I mean, this is it. And also the food. So I don't cook African food because this is something very hard to learn, and mom didn't have the time. So I start to go online and take cooking lessons to know how to cook the things that I like to eat in my mom's home or my aunties and everything. But and we're coming, embroidery, it was interesting because when my hands went wild, I could see Africa coming. Not in the way we use embroidery in Africa. You can see that in the dashikis, this beautiful rows where you can see this magnificent embroidery. But they are coming from the Muslim link, which is not really typically African. So I asked one of my cousins who has been raised in Cameroon, and to ask her if there was something about embroidery coming directly from my people. I am an Sa girl. The plural for Sa is Bassa, like Ntu is Bantus. So I asked her to know if the Bassa had something about embroidery of some sort, and she told me no, this is coming from the Muslims. So for me it was really interesting because the things that are coming from my hands, they are coming from nowhere, but you can say that they have this kind of African feel, maybe in the color, This the one I started, and this is the fourth, I think, in the color, and most of it, I think, is in the rhythm. And I had the pleasure to talk with Miriam yesterday, and by the way, I want to tell you that as a coach, she has been so fantastic for me. My life has totally changed. This is awesome to to be coached by Miriam. This is something fantastic. And so that what I wanted to say is I'm really into texture now, and you know, I like my heart to be read by the end also. She said blind art. Maybe I would say very sensual and tactile. Yes, this is the word. So I made this embroidery tactile, this one particularly, because if you can see that, I don't know if it's very good. You can see I have a very, this one are very large thread, and this one is a very thin one, very, very thin. It's take hours to do that. So it comes from that. These are silk thread. I try not to make them silk thread, and they're very thin, so you can see here it's really, really, really thin, and so you have to be very patient, which I was not at all, and which I am learning, and I love it. As you say, Lavinia, this is the slow stitching way, and this one is new for me, and it's really interesting because I just have to be confident in what I'm doing, and the fact that it will be done eventually, one day or another, hopefully. And this is the material I have, so you can see all the thread. Those one are cottons. Those one are cottons also, and I have another one, and I have silk coming because silk is different when you touch it, and when you look at it, it's more shiny, and you can do something very special with that. And I love this one, which is very difficult to work with. This is gold, and you can see that it's very, this is another texture. It's not very smooth, it's a bit rough. Maybe you can exfoliate your skin with that and do something. It could be interesting, but it's very expensive, so why? And this one gives another texture. It's not really easy to work with different fabric. With this one, I want to do that. This one is really, really, really thin, and it will rip her to shred. So I had another idea. I took the shred of, you know, the what's when I finish to stitch, you have always this thing, you can't do anything, and it's too short to. I put them here, and I will use them in my teaching. I don't know if this one or the other, to do some kind of abstract construction. It will be a kind of 3D things, not too thick, but giving it also texture and a kind of sculptural experience. So we are coming to what I wanted to say, that you can see me stitching, and I will try to talk while doing it. So what I do is, I'm doing this thing, which is not easy. I go from a point to another. I haven't stitched in my life. I mean, my mother was a good seamstress. She made clothes for us. She made beautiful dresses, I remember, and shirts. I really liked the thing she does. She doesn't do that anymore, but she was very good. So, and I put, you know, it here, so you can see, and I take it from the back, and then I take it up here. And what I do here is I go in the middle. This is going a kind of texture, like an arrow feel, and it's like if I was, I don't know the word in English. Wow, you know, you're crossing the thread, like if you were doing another fabric of your own, creating your own fabric. That's, I could say. So this is what I do, and when I do that, as I told you, I'm listening to the text thing, but I'm very passive, even in my listening. It's a kind of meditation, but good for the brain. Well, meditation is always good for the brain anyway. But I mean that meditation that's... maybe this is something I have to work on, but I don't like to be passive. So when I'm sitting somewhere, I have to do this. If I'm not stitching, I'm doing my crochet project, which is, and it will be the end, stop the torture. This huge thing. It's a lot of crochet matters, lots, very different one. Because the idea I have of what I want to do is huge, and it will take a lot of time to do. But it's interesting, and I have a long way to go with this one. A really long way to go. Oh, here come the France. Bleu, blanc, rouge, yes. So it is here. So that's what I wanted to share. Yes, the emotion I got when I do that. It's a kind of very peaceful moment. This one was very important for me today because for 3 days now I have ordered furniture at IKEA, and we were just, you know, building the thing from the flat pack. It was very exhausting. 3 hours today to do the last one. So now they are in my room, because also I'm changing everything in my room, which is fantastic, new life. And the problem is that I have clothes everywhere in my room. This is like a battlefield, and I wanted to escape the overwhelming feeling I had. And I said, okay, go back to stitching. Then you are going to find your peace again and feel, you know, this tranquil. You can see that the other one who is tranquil here is my cat. Yeah, having a very good time. Yeah, honey. Yeah. So this is the way we do embroidery in this home. And so it was a pleasure to talk to you. Yes, I stopped. You see that? I stopped stitching while talking. Oh yes, and the other thing I wanted to share with you was the fact that I talked about a friend who is in a cultural committee in my town about what we were doing, and she is going to tell the mayor about that, because maybe they want to have a kind of exhibition in our city about this project and this idea, and maybe also the idea to create a group of women that stitch and talk and share together. Yes, I will tell you more about that when she had the meeting, because I don't know more than that, but she was really intrigued and interested, and she saw me change for the best, so she really wants to know more about that. So that's it for now, and it was a great pleasure. Thank you again, Lavinia and Minx. Thank you so much, everybody, and I wish you the best as always. One love. Thank you so much. Bye bye.